camping out of my vehicle and being able to go to these places and photograph wild animals was almost a progression in my life of something new. So from sailing on the ocean to almost driving across the country and exploring the country, like exploring the ocean. It's a progression of what I've done and hopefully will continue to do throughout my life. Hi everyone, my name's Oscar Orpen. I'm a wildlife photographer and we are at Cape Point National Park today looking for some animals. I originally got into wildlife photography during COVID and we were living on a farm, my girlfriend and I, out in Elgin, and I had an emergency appendix surgery, and for about 2 weeks after the surgery I had to not move, I couldn't go outside, I couldn't walk around, basically had to sit in a chair or lie down and do very minimal movement. So all I could do was actually sit outside and listen to the birds and watch birds and just look for wildlife. I mean, I had a bird book with me, so I was lucky enough to be able to look at different birds and try identify the species. And yeah, so that's where my love for wildlife and birds and animals and just being outdoors really came from, and I appreciated it so much because I wasn't able to just do an everyday task like, you know, walking or running or going up and down stairs. I had to sit and do nothing, so I had to find something that could keep me busy, keep me entertained, and we had a bird book, so something that I could do. I really enjoy wildlife and specifically wildlife photography because every animal can be the exact same animal, but it's always moving in a different way. It's always looking in a different direction. The light's doing something completely different all the time, in the morning, in the evening, midday, at night. I really enjoy photographing that and capturing those moments of an animal doing something beautiful, but also you get to keep that moment. You get to keep looking back at the moment, and you get to explore new moments with the animals constantly, and that's what drives me to go and take more photographs and go explore wilderness, even if it's in your backyard. It doesn't have to be in the greatest of locations. It doesn't have to be in the deep wilderness or, you know, 500 kilometers from the nearest town. It can be right outside your doorstep. So that's what makes me appreciate the wildlife, and also I'm able to capture those moments. I've only been doing wildlife photography for about 1.5 years now, and I've had some special moments, not a lot of special moments that really stand out to me, but one that really stands out to me was I was in the Kruger for 3 weeks, and the last 3 days we actually got stuck there because of some big flooding that happened. And eventually the rangers found a route that we could get out by, but the route was washed away and we had to basically make our own tracks through the bush to get out. So for about 12 hours we were all driving in convoy and everyone getting stuck, pulling each other out, getting out of vehicles. I mean, it was dangerous, but it was such a unique time where, you know, you'd never have this kind of opportunity but experience at the same time. And literally 500 meters before all the craziness was behind us, the tar road was in front and I was the last vehicle to get out. And on my left hand side I look out the window and there's this beautiful leopard in this beautiful light, and it just had a kill in the tree and it was just laying there perfectly. That was probably the most unique and special moment that I've had in my short journey of wildlife photography. So I shoot with Sony. I've always shot with Sony just because Sony was the brand that I knew at the time and I've stuck with it. So I shoot with a Sony A7R4, a 200 to 600 Sony lens, and a Sigma 24-70 f2.8. So that's what I own, and that's what I primarily use on all my shoots. But what I carry with me everywhere is my Shimoda Action X30 backpack, and that holds everything inside. Cameras, lenses, laptops, cables, everything you can think of. Earphones, everything. But one thing I think a lot of people, especially in South Africa where you're mainly photographing from your vehicle, is these cool little bean bags that sit on the side of your car over the window. And it's such a small little thing, but it plays a huge part in photographing because it keeps your camera stable. And everyone knows if there's an animal way down there and you're trying to hold your camera at some weird angle, having the stability of this tiny little beanbag that doesn't cost that much money can make the world of difference. It can make a terrible shot into a really beautiful, stable image. So as kids, we always went camping with my dad. We went to Namibia, we crossed the desert, and ever since there, we've always been outdoors and loved the outdoors. And we always, my brother and I, and my whole family, we've always wanted to be in the outdoors. And my whole life has been something to do with outdoors. So it's hiking or climbing or sailing. So I used to sail a lot, sailed to Rio and back, and through Turkey and Mediterranean. So photography was almost like a natural progression in something that can keep me in the outdoors. And car camping, so camping out of my vehicle and being able to go to these places and photograph wild animals, was almost a progression in my life of something new. So from sailing on the ocean to almost driving across the country and exploring the country, like exploring the ocean. It's a progression of what I've done and hopefully will continue to do throughout my life. Giving advice to other people on how to start and where to start. For me, my inspiration on a lot of photography came from social media and the internet and YouTube, and following other photographers from around the world, from Alaska to Svalbard on an island off the coast of Norway, photographing polar bears, to people down south going to Antarctica photographing penguins and whales and stuff. So it's not about just where you are, it's about the whole entire world of what is out there and what you can learn from everyone. So everyone's got something to teach, whether they are just photographing caribou in Alaska. You can learn something from that and apply it to something from where you are. Someone who's starting out, it's all about practice, 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 but it's also passion. You have to have the passion for it, and with passion comes naturally the progression in learning something. So you can learn a lot from just watching and listening to other people, but also picking up your camera and going out there every day and taking a photo of anything. It doesn't have to be a bird or an animal or anything. It can be little bugs or little bees on your doorstep or on a flower or something, or people, or anything. So practice makes perfect. Thank you so much for coming on the shoot with us today. You can follow me on my social media, Oscar_Orpen, and on my website, oscarorpen.com.